Hi, I'm Irving. You have just entered Cartertopia.
And the wonders that you do.
The emergency line woke Diana out of a sound sleep. She's to get to headquarters as quickly as she can. She'll hop like a superpowered bunny all the way there.
This secret tape was made yesterday at Miami. An hour ago, IB analysis identified this man as Evan Robley.
It's Robley, all right, sir. I remember him from the time he stole the nuclear plans from the French Navy.
Evan Robley has stolen just about everything from everybody.
He's the world's top thief, basically. What's he doing here? Steve and Joe can't come up with any ideas. As usual, Diana is the brains of the outfit.
All of my mornings spent poring over newspapers has finally paid off. Queen Katherine of Malakar just happens to be in Palm Beach, Florida at this very moment.
Brilliant deduction, my dear Watson.
Thank you, Holmes.
She's a genuine Cinderella story. Kathy O'Reilly from Boston went on a cruise, met the king, and they fell in love. Last year, he died, and she became queen. A lot of Malakar folks don't like the idea of having an American commoner as their queen.
She brought with her what amounts to the Malakar heritage, a priceless diamond crown and necklace.
Then she'll need protection.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. She's staying at the Malakar consulate. We have absolutely no jurisdiction there whatsoever.
Well, then we'll have to go undercover.
The queen's idea is that if she brings the crown jewels with her to America, then brings them back safely, it'll legitimize her claim to be queen because she kept the country's heritage safe. I don't understand it either.
This is the Malakar ambassador to the U.S. greeting her, isn't it?
Yes, it's the same Gregory Orrick that was so critical of Catherine when she took the throne.
You can't blame the man for being chauvinistic about his country, Diana.
Diana's expression says you can either retract that statement or duck.
Any problems?
None at all. My credentials work perfectly. You are serving tea, which I did not order, to the Honorable Stephen Ludwig, president of the American Malakar Cultural Association.
I can see that male chauvinism is still alive and well. You're the Honorable Stephen Ludwig, while I'm the Honorable new domestic hired to serve at the reception tomorrow.
Don't look puzzled, Steve. She's taught you better by now. They talk a little more, then she's off to serve that tea to Count Diaz, a shirt-tail relative of the late king.
Your tea, Count Diaz.
You cannot be a maid.
Oh.
You must be a princess.
Or maybe he's international thief Evan Robley. He's a master of disguise, and today he's disguised himself as the captain from Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. He had to change careers because Diana blew up his submarine back in episode 4. Robley starts hitting on Diana, and it's all she can do to get away. While she's working on it, the ambassador comes in.
Catherine has granted your request for a private audience.
Before tea.
Immediately.
How thoughtful.
That's John Colicos, pronunciation approximate. The following year, he landed the role of Count Baltar in Battlestar Galactica and became one of the most hated people in the country. That's the hazard of being an actor who's too good at his job. Diana transforms and starts making her way around the building. When I ran track in high school, I jumped over hurdles higher than that. Why'd it take so much effort? The Queen gets right to the point.
Suppose we stop playing games, Count Diaz. You could start by telling me who you are.
Why, Catherine, I'm your dear departed husband's second cousin, once removed.
In that case, you may remove yourself, because there is no such person.
He says, it's my cover. I'm with the IADC, sent here to protect you and the jewels. His fake credentials are perfect, of course, and he's been checked out by Ambassador Baltar. In fact, it was the ambassador's idea to bring the crown jewels and all the rest. Such a helpful man. Yeah, he's behind the whole thing. He hired Robley to steal the jewels so he can bring down the American upstart and do what? He never actually says. But he's sure it'll be better than having her run the country. And that's not a spoiler, because as quick as Robley leaves the Queen, the ambassador catches up with him and they talk about everything I just told you. They just use way too many words. But before that happens, Robley turns up the charm.
I've long believed, you know, that the most valuable jewel of Malakar was her queen.
Thank you. You've made me feel very welcome, Mr. Scott.
Barge in and expose him. You're Wonder Woman. The Queen will understand.
Won't you join me for refreshments? Perhaps some tea?
Thank you. Allow me.
No, he picks up the phone and asks them to have Diana serve his tea in the Queen's quarters. She has to race back to carry out the order.
I left with tea for Count Diaz, right?
Right.
I served it to Evan Robley in the Queen's chambers.
Whew. He certainly doesn't lack nerve.
Or charm. Catherine's eating out of his hand.
Don't forget to tell him Robley's posing as an IADC agent.
Joe arranged for a warrant. If we can get him off the consulate grounds, we can legally take him into custody.
He's a very clever man, Steve. It won't be easy.
I've got a plan that just might do it. Meet me by the front gate after dark. Can you make it?
The question is, can you?
She forgot to tell him Robley is posing as an IADC agent. Steve puts his subtle plan into action.
Good evening.
Lose your way.
As a matter of fact, I've found it, Mr. Robley.
Clearly, it begins with a subtle act of breaking and entering.
I'd like to buy the royal jewels of Malakar.
Unfortunately, they're not mine to sell.
I see. Well, before you fence them, I suggest you listen to my offer.
The next step is a subtle slap across the face.
How can I be certain you'll deliver?
You come with me and I'll show you.
Are you suggesting I leave the grounds?
Mr. Robley, the amount of money we're talking about cannot be carried by one man. If you can't take the mountain of money to Mohammed...
Then Mohammed must move to the money.
Followed by a subtle ruse that my daughter's cat could see through.
Oh, I'd better call the Queen.
Why?
Well, after all, she does have custody of the baubles in question, however temporary. Oh, what was her private extension? I have it here somewhere. I'm sure I...
Followed by the subtle but inevitable failure, putting Steve in jeopardy so Wonder Woman can rescue him. Great plan. Works every time. He's been gone long enough that Diana goes looking for him.
Oh, Steve.
Diana, get out fast.
What? Let me untie you.
No, there's no time. Robley sent for the security guards. If they find you here, we're both out of action.
Well, I can't leave you here, Steve.
You've got to. He knows who I am. He found the warrant.
She has to hide while the guards come and take him to a cell. But it gets worse.
Fortunately, Your Majesty, Mr. Scott here discovered that Mr. Ludwig was not the president of the American Malakar Cultural Association, as he claimed, but a rather infamous jewel thief, Evan Robley.
We are greatly indebted to you, Mr. Scott.
So everybody can relax, the thief has been caught. In desperation, Diana finagles her way in to see the Queen.
I had to see you, Your Majesty. You're being tricked. The royal jewels are in great danger, and so are you.
And how does a maid acquire this information?
I'm not a maid. My name is Diana Prince, and I work with the IADC.
You're working with Agent Scott?
He's not an agent. He's a jewel thief. Evan Robley.
The Queen doesn't believe her.
Call this number. It's in Washington. They'll verify everything I've told you.
Excuse me for disturbing you so late, Your Majesty. Telegram from Washington. Eyes only. This is not your handwriting, my queen.
He convinces her that Diana is Robley's accomplice and she's to be arrested and put in a cell with him. You know that the ambassador was opposed to you being the Queen. Diana just gave you a phone number that he admitted goes straight to the White House, and he doesn't want you to call it. Isn't that kind of suspicious? We watch Robley get into his burglar outfit, grab his tools, and head out the window. Cut to Wonder Woman. Wait, did they do it again? Show me the other one. You know what to do. That's the same footage with a day for night filter. Lazy, guys, and cheap. We eat up some runtime watching Wonder Woman come in the room and walk over to the Queen's bed.
Wonder Woman?
Yes.
Oh, I must still be asleep. I thought you were a dream, a legend.
I'm real. As real as you. If you want physical proof, I suggest that you examine your window.
You did that?
Yes.
Oh, even seeing it with my own eyes, I can't believe it.
Will the Queen believe Wonder Woman? Well, yes. Wonder Woman tells her Robley knows where the jewels are, so we'd better go get them.
They're gone. Stolen. We're too late. My enemies have won.
Wow, what a surprise. I don't think anybody could have seen that coming.
I did not steal the royal jewels.
You playing games with me?
Games?
Repeat that, please, if you can.
I did not steal the royal jewels.
Well, that's an interesting development.
Maybe I didn't ask you the right question.
It's a distinct possibility.
Must I?
I hate the idea of being forced into doing anything. It's my criminal nature, I suppose. May I have some more champagne?
I should have asked you if you knew where they were hidden.
And I would have told you they were most probably in the consulate security room.
That went right over her head. If they're hidden in the security room, what is she holding?
Actually, they're worth, in these inflationary times, about $83.
I asked you if you'd stolen the royal jewels. You're telling me these are fakes?
Took you long enough.
I was tricked, and so are you.
It's Queen Catherine who's been tricked. She's the one who's going to suffer. Whoever stole the real jewels has stolen her throne as well. She'll be forced to abdicate.
Really?
Yes, but she won't give up without a fight. They don't call her the Wild Shamrock for nothing.
She says, we have to come up with a way to get the jewels back. Who do you think stole them? Robley says, I know who, and I'll prove it to you if you stay hidden for a few minutes. Oh, and one other thing.
A bothersome detail, actually. Amnesty.
Amnesty?
Mm-hmm.
Why should you be given amnesty?
Because if I'm not, I'll only have to escape. And frankly, I'm growing very weary of wearing disguise after ridiculous disguise.
She says, I'll see what I can do. I have some friends in high places. Robley makes a call and his suspect comes in.
What's the meaning of this, Robley? You're supposed to be on your way to the airport.
I ran into a slight problem, Mr. Ambassador. The jewels that you hired me to steal are fakes.
Well, what does it matter? You weren't stealing on a commission basis.
Somehow I feel shortchanged. And I imagine your co-conspirators will feel the same way if they knew you had appropriated the jewels for yourself.
Oryx says, then if you value your life, don't tell them. Take your fee and get out of town immediately. When he's gone, Robley and Wonder Woman reason that the vault in the security room is the only logical place he could be keeping the real jewels. And it's maximum security.
Maximum is an understatement. That vault makes Fort Knox look like a piggy bank. The entire floor is an electronic alarm, and the slightest pressure on it will fill the room with deadly gas.
Well, then how could you have possibly expected to get in there in the first place? Did you have a plan, or...?
Of course I have a plan.
Good. Then I'll help you carry it off.
You'll either help him carry it out or help him pull it off. Carry it off is what a hawk does to a mouse. While they're discussing that, the ambassador is talking to the Queen about abdicating.
Since I never expected to have a throne, the thought of abdication is less of a trauma than you might think.
That's something he's not likely to understand because he's always been a big shot. He doesn't know her at all. All he knows is a stupid nationalism.
Your Majesty.
I don't necessarily mean you, Ambassador. I merely meant to point out that though I haven't experienced poverty personally, it is certainly no stranger to me. I don't fear it for myself. I do, however, fear it for my people.
He's always assumed she was nothing but an American social climber. He doesn't realize she takes the job seriously, or else he refuses to believe that she does and buys his own fake news instead.
The Americans, Your Majesty?
My people are the Malakans.
You have just been slapped across the face, Ambassador, and now she knows you're the one behind this whole thing.
Ambassador Auric, I realize my enemies would stop at nothing to dethrone me. But when they get my head, they will be getting the head of a queen.
She knows, Auric, and she's being more of a noble than you will ever hope to become. Hey, once you get her head, maybe you can mount it in your living room. That way, for the rest of your life, her expression can remind you how tiny your whatchamadingy is. At the security building, since Robley knows the layout and Wonder Woman has the strength and all that, Steve will stay outside to get overpowered and captured. I mean, guard the door. Since the floor is wired to kill, they'll have to do this by air.
Tie this off and hold on to it tight.
Right.
It's amazing how the golden lasso suddenly turned into a regular gray hemp rope, isn't it? I'm starting to think there isn't anything that lasso can't do.
I know the combination.
So do I.
And hers is faster than yours. She tosses the mechanism up to him, then opens the safe and finds the jewels.
What sort of circus performance is this?
Okay, so I was right the first time about Steve. Getting overpowered and captured by people half his size is what he does best. Auric lowers that staircase that we saw in the room and tells both Steve and Robley, head on down there. Needless to say, neither of them is eager to comply. Steve needs to get one of those tiaras. Maybe he wouldn't get in trouble so often. Meanwhile, Auric is staring at Wonder Woman as if to say, "You did not just do that."
Oh, where did you? How did you?
Not now. No one is more deserving of this than you, Your Majesty.
And what about Robley? Well, he made the most fundamental mistake that a con man thief can make. He bought his own con. He's got a huge crush on the Queen and he's ready to go straight. And you get the feeling the crush is sort of mutual in spite of everything.
Come on, Steve. Get me out of this.
No, we'll blow our cover.
My favorite maid. Diana, I thought you'd forsaken me. I think I'll have some champagne.
Since you'll no longer be working as a thief, Count Diaz, why not try your hand as a waiter?
Diana is an agent for the IADC.
There goes his crush on Diana, so he'd better hope the Queen really does like him. She appears wearing the crown jewels as she's expected to do. I included that just because I love her expression when she sees Robley holding the serving tray. After the event, she goes to put the jewels back in the safe.
Your Majesty.
How did you get in here?
They've been asking that question ever since I can remember.
He's a professional thief, remember? Locked doors are a challenge, not a hindrance.
I hope you won't feel neglected if I don't offer you a knighthood, Mr. Robley.
A simple thank you would do nicely, Your Majesty.
Exactly what am I supposed to be grateful to you for?
He did turn over a new leaf and help Wonder Woman recover the jewels. Without him, she probably wouldn't have accomplished it because Steve was too busy letting Auric overpower him.
There's Gregory Auric, whose downfall I most certainly hastened.
Wonder Woman and the IADC had something to do with that, you know.
Of course. But would they have appeared at all if I had not provided the impetus?
Your logic amazes me.
I think he's been taking logic lessons from Batman.
Then consider this. Where are they now when you're in real danger?
Danger?
Of being kissed.
I'd rather give you a knighthood, Mr. Robley.
Oh, that's what you say now. But as we become better acquainted, you may change your mind.
As Shakespeare said, methinks the lady doth protest too much.
Will that be all, Mr. Robley?
Don't you mean Sir Evan?
You truly are everything they say about you.
And willing to be more.
I could use an ambassador.
With Evan Robley installed as the new ambassador to the U.S. and probably soon to become royal consort, all is well. David Hedison was perfect for the part of the smooth, suave criminal who uses charm instead of violence. John Colicos, what can I say? I was a little puzzled that the Irish girl from Boston had an English accent, but we can assume she picked that up from years of living in another country that probably speaks that kind of accent in English. The truth is, the actress really is English. Her name is Juliet Mills, and she's Haley Mills' sister. She did an excellent job in the part. I was ready to come rescue her and maybe try to become the royal consort myself. I doubt my wife would go for that idea. I noticed we didn't try to go for any mystery or big reveal or anything like that. We knew almost from the start who the villains were, and the question was how to stop them without creating an international incident. That makes for a very different kind of storyline, and I like it. I hope we can do more of this kind of thing. As always, there's only one way to find out. I'm Irving, and you are now exiting Cartertopia.